Is the order, first order of business, pledge of allegiance. Yikes.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Need to move this one.
Okay. Going Franklin County first.
Okay.
We know how busy you are and
Actually, tonight is actually pretty good.
no practice.
There's a practice, but she's riding with a friend, so.
You got it covered, huh?
I've got the two boys at home and it's bath night, so I'm yours for as long as. So.
Well, you can start making up stuff,
I'm gonna say,
you know.
I can make up.
Yeah, I mean, I can start telling you about other townships if that's, you know.
But remember, this meeting's recorded, so she can play it back and then you're in trouble.
There's 6 townships I do. She usually doesn't even with this. I'm like, ticket out.
Right.
No,
Right, well, we got
just
this
to
way.
let you know, our contract was approved by the union, and we'll be getting the cameras whenever they're able to issue them to us, but it's been approved and commissioners just need to sign off on the contract with the sheriff's office and everything to go at this point.
The expected implementation is it next?
Yeah, it'll be early. Their hope, so our patrol division obviously will get theirs first. Then it'll probably, I'm in support services, so it'll probably come to us, and then I believe corrections will be one of the last divisions to get it.
Okay.
But yeah, they're thinking early next year for our patrol deputies. So it will really change the way, and we obviously have the 5-minute look back, which probably is going to be, I think, most other departments, and then
We'll have two.
what's that?
We'll have two.
Yeah.
So which raises the point, not to cut you off, raises the point. What's our timeline? A lot more attention.
With their supply chain issues, we got our server last week.
Okay.
But we haven't received anything else,
Yeah.
so they're still trying to, they can't give us an estimate yet.
Okay.
I need them.
We're having technical.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on here.
No, we're good.
Okay. Thank you. Oh, I missed minutes. I'm out of sequence. So I'm looking for a motion to approve minutes from last regular session. I can't do that. I wasn't here.
So
So
move, Mr. Chairman. Second.
vote.
Yes. Yes.
I was absent. So,
You abstain.
I understand.
You are allowed.
Public comment period. We got Randy Banks from Assistant Superintendent from Worthington Schools.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for the opportunity to speak with you. I just plan on giving you a very brief update of some of the things that are occurring in our schools. And I'll try to really stick to schools that service the students of Perry Township. But first of all, at Worthington Hills, we do have a new principal, Principal Tiana Miller, started in August. If you haven't had the opportunity to get over to meet her, she's doing a fantastic job, and we continue to hear wonderful things. Brookside Elementary still has Jenny Walensky as their principal, and one of the things we're excited to report is just some of the partnerships that occurred between the township and the school district. We were able to pave the pathway along the railroad tracks, and I know that project to connect over to Perry Middle School is close to being paved. I saw them working on my way over here. So hopefully we'll have that finished, but that's a good example of a partnership between the school district that benefits our students as well as all of the bicycle riders and pedestrians in that area. Another partnership that's occurring at the elementary school level that occurred was our full-scale safety drills. Last year, Chief brought pretty much everyone that was working and probably some people who weren't working to make sure that our students saw the full force of the police department. It out of all of our drills, I have to tell you, it was the most impressive because everyone was there. Both at Worthington Hills and Brookside, students practiced going to their rally points. And the police were in full force to show students that there would be safe places for them to exit the grounds if that was ever necessary. During the summer, the police department completed safety assessments for us. This was a new form, a way of grading our safety strategies within the school district. We used those assessments to apply for a safety grant with the state of Ohio. And we were fortunate enough to receive about the equivalent of $50,000 for each school within the township, which will go towards a new camera system. So it will be a basic camera system. It won't cover the entire building on the inside, but will give us some really good perimeter cameras on the outside and a couple cameras on the inside. And we think that's fantastic and a huge step forward for safety in our school district. Since that time, Chet reached out to me and asked if it would be possible for the township to have access to those cameras in case of an emergency. So we've worked with our legal counsel to come up with the first ever agreement. So I have provided him with a draft for his team to review, and we'll have to schedule a meeting to talk about how those cameras could benefit the police department if anything were to ever occur and they needed access to view that footage. So obviously they still have access to do a public records request and get that footage should something occur in the neighborhood and they want to see if our cameras picked it up. But for emergency situations, this would give them the capability and the password to log into our camera system and see what's going on inside the building and on the property. So that would actually be the first. So we're going to offer that same plan to Worthington as well as Columbus, but it was all initiated by the partnership we have with Chief and Chet. So we're excited about that. Go ahead.
And thank you very much for providing that. And Chief, I know you probably have a couple of questions, but I want to make sure that Mr. Roper is engaged in that conversation because obviously it's a legal document and someone happens to be an attorney anyway. So it might be something we want to take a look at, see if it meets our needs.
Randy, real quick, I think I was just notified today that the safety grant just opened, I think it's the 6th maybe?
Right.
For next year.
Right.
I'm sure you were made aware,
Yeah.
but yeah, it came out, it opens up to anything else.
Yeah, very good. Thank you. Just briefly, 2 middle schools that service students of the township, Perry Middle School and McCord Middle School. We completed phase 1 to accommodate the 6th graders. So now they are 6th through 8th grade buildings. We did some additional work at McCord this summer to kind of finish and really match the old part of the building with the new part of the building. If you haven't been in the building, I think you will see a noticeable difference. Their assistant principal, Megan Kirsten, was named Assistant Principal of the Year and received that award today. And I was also made aware that we have a regional winner for the social worker of the year. So that will be leaked out in the upcoming days, but we're super excited about our staff being recognized. And I won't go into a big sales pitch on issue 6 and 7, but I do need to let you know that at Kilbourne High School, although it's the newest building in the district, it is 30+ years old. It has systems, not quite leaking pipes in the basement, but at 30+ years, you never know what's going to go wrong. And we do need to update and renovate that, increase flexible space for kids. So we are on the ballot with issue 6 and 7, which will not only provide us with the appropriate funds to continue our programming for students K through 12, it will allow us to add teachers for the increase of 600 students that we anticipate, and certainly address our high schools on both sides of the district with major renovations and updates to really bring those schools back to standard with the state and also with the neighboring school districts in our area. So we're really excited about that opportunity. I'll leave some brochures and certainly would be willing to answer any questions, but in the interest of time, I'll just open it up for any questions about the school district or about any of the things that I mentioned.
The walking path you mentioned is scheduled to be paved Wednesday.
Awesome. Perfect.
The cousin will be there doing the walk path on Wednesday, Snoffer on Thursday.
Great.
We need to give something to the school district for bus routing or anything. Probably not. It'll be, Southborough will be running for
They'll be maintaining, there's an officer, sheriff. They're directing traffic.
Not this year.
Any other questions?
Very good. We'll be in touch.
Yeah, absolutely. Just let me know when you're free.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Randy.
Thank you.
Andy, can you please explain about public hearing being canceled?
Oh, no, thanks, Beth, for that. So our public hearing for the tax incentive district TIF, which was on the agenda, we found out that we're missing a piece of information. So we are actually postponing that public hearing till a later date. So if anybody's here for the tip.
Hi.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries. Adam Sealy representing Epcon,
Okay.
the developer.
Yeah, we were missing a piece to make it all, so we're gonna postpone that, and we'll let you know when we're gonna put that back on the agenda.
Okay.
All right.
And Beth, we're looking at county engineer needs to supply that.
Right, I have a phone call at 10 tomorrow morning to kind of go through all that process one more time, so
The
go from there.
the certification.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Engineer.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Do you have a business card?
I do.
Yeah, we can give you a call when it's back on the agenda.
Sure thing.
This gets back to $5.
It's the good thing. It's like,
Change.
it is. It is. Okay, public comment period on the Brookside. Anything Brookside?
I think that the hog roast has already been set for October 29th. What is that? October 29th is the hog roast.
I'm not sure the date on that.
I believe that's in the calendar.
Yeah, it'd be a Saturday.
Yeah. I don't know if anybody's reached out to wanting the police to.
Haven't heard.
I'm sure Michelle will, if she has, then she will be.
Yeah.
So,
That's October 29th.
We're gonna send out, as far as the Snalfer Road project for Wednesday, Thursday, we're sending something out tomorrow. Yes. For Brookside residents.
Yeah, we can put that together, schedule on 14th.
Worthington Hills.
Nothing.
Epcon and Rebel.
I did have a couple things on for Epcon. They've, their board has chosen to not allow solicitors in their neighborhood. So that was passed by their board last night. I sent you and Lieutenant, the sergeants, and Marion, Lori. So, because if anyone comes in for a permit,
Yep.
just let them know. I'm not doing that anymore. And the only other thing was that we have been having some pickup problems, collection for trash and recycling. But I'm happy to report we have a new route manager, and he's been stellar so far and quite proactive. So hopefully that will help. And it's just kind of hard because there was construction trucks in their way when they went to pick up a couple weeks ago. So I contacted Epcon and the ladies talking to their crews to make sure that those roadways are clear until the trash truck can get through and recycling.
I drove through Epcon today, phase 2. There's only 5 lots left in phase 2.
I drove through this weekend and I was blown away.
Mhm.
But there's some people that are like all moved in and there's construction all around.
Mhm.
And there's, you know,
Those
you
folks
kind
are
of-
struggling with.
yeah,
the
you kind of
pickup.
feel bad for them. But
Yeah.
I was blown away. And plus you got to see the whole backside of the fire.
Yes,
That's where all the damage is.
Mhm.
yeah, I'm sure you saw they're starting to tear it down
That
now.
whole tower part or, you
Yeah.
know, that's all.
It's all starting to come down.
It's widespread.
Yeah. Yeah, I was told they can't save anything on there. They will raise it to the ground and then.
Whole structure.
Yeah,
They're gonna rebuild the original owners and they're gonna rebuild.
I've heard both. I don't know what they're gonna do.
Yeah. We haven't received any permits for new builds, but I'm saying, I've heard both ways. Mary, they did get the demolition permit. A lady came in late on Friday, so Luke looked it up just to make sure that was set. And it is, so.
Anything, don't see anything under zoning. Nothing under the development director, road department.
As I mentioned at the last meeting, our generator is having had issues. It needs a fuel pump replaced. W.W. Williams cannot find a new fuel pump, so they're recommending rebuilding that one. The cost estimate for that is in the Dropbox. To rebuild the fuel pump, we're looking at $10,430 roughly. I had them quote a new generator that matches up to exactly what we have. It's also in the Dropbox. A new generator was shipping right around 32,000. Right now, we do not have any backup power with the fuel pump that's on. It's not working at all. I'm waiting on a quote for they can wire in an emergency generator. So I'm looking tonight for just recommendations on which way to go. New generator, it cannot ship until next year, February. Probably wouldn't be installed until March. Rebuilding the fuel pump 2 to 3 weeks.
And the only question is WW Williams, the only people that can supply.
I'm not
Generator.
sure about supplying the generator. I haven't
Right.
looked. We have a service contract for maintenance with WW Williams.
Yeah,
That's why I reached out there.
We get a discount as a result. So just as a comparison, we can either repair fuel 10,000 and change, or buy a whole new unit for 32 and change.
Yeah, and that 32 includes the startup, the setup, installation.
Everything.
Startup, yeah.
Whole thing. But we can't get the new one until February, and the repair could be done in 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 to 3 weeks.
what's the warranty on the repairs?
Usually a year on the repair. Now, they're not gonna guarantee on this fuel pump because of the condition of our fuel tank. We've had the fuel tank cleaned out 2 years ago. The new fuel with the steel tanks causes the inside to rust. We're getting a lot of that up into the,
So are we, if we went with something new, are we replacing the tank?
it's the whole unit.
And that's the part of the 32?
Yeah, it's the
And
whole.
is that
tank.
diesel? Are those diesel?
It's diesel to John Deere.
And how many times do we usually have to go to backup generator?
I can only think of like two times in a year, and it's usually something happening out front.
And is that during winter time usually, or is it,
No, it's more construction season.
yeah,
Usually someone out here hits the line. The thing is we don't ever know how long we're down, because this building's totally powered by the generator.
right?
The only time we know we don't have power is when we hear that running.
So the other question is this thing able to be, if we go new, can this thing be moved?
Yes, it could be moved.
All right,
The wires are, the cables that are running from buildings, those will
Right.
have to all be
Okay.
rerouted, but yes, this can be lifted.
and how long have we had the existing generator?
I cannot find any real paperwork on it. It
So,
was here when I started. I'm assuming when I asked, it's a late 90s, mid 90s model.
I mean, you're a third of the way there with the repairs. And, for 32, you're brand new upgraded gas thing, which is causing the I'm more kind of nodding towards just getting new. I mean, if that's, Jim, what do you think?
I kind of think so too, especially if we can move it, depending on what we do here renovation wise.
Right.
What's the cost for like a temporary portable one that you would just lease for whatever, like the next 6 months? Cause I'm thinking all of October, November, December, January, February. If it gets installed in March, that's 6 months.
I was waiting on a quote from WW Williams for that. I was hoping to have it by this evening. I haven't got it over. Sunbelt rents monthly, the trailer units. Monthly, we're looking at like $1,700 a month for the rental.
So that's,
The other thing is, we're on battery backup on most of our electronics here. If batteries give us enough time, we can always rent in an emergency and have it hooked up.
Right. The only thing, if we go new, I'd like to see some additional quotes and not just, one quote from WW Williams. So is that something you could turn around fairly quickly?
I'll try to get it by the next week.
You go with that?
Can we authorize something, wait on the quotes and get?
I mean, here's the thing, if we're only down, I know we're rolling the dice, but if it's, few and far between. If you get the quotes and you send them out, like we can basically review them prior to the next meeting, and then make a decision at the next meeting. Just depends on how quick you get the quote. Because we may get a better quote if it's less and whatever, but I'd like to see the additional quotes.
We probably ought to have sort of plan in place, like, if we do lose powers for an extended period of time, batteries aren't gonna last so long, who do we rent from? How quickly can they get something up here, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's what I'm kind of hoping with WW Williams, they can get us that quote, at least we can have that.
And the problem is if there's a massive power outage through some crazy storm or something like that, everybody's gonna want these.
Yeah.
Big portable generators. So we definitely gotta get this fixed. And I think the fix is a new.
I'll check with the Department of Administrative Services too, see if they can recommend any companies that would be on state bed. Okay.
But I didn't have time to look at this and see if this will
Go good money.
state bid on the generator.
Right.
What
Yeah.
people get us. It's a lot cheaper than what the technician that was out here
Was
told me it would
estimating.
be, so.
So if the board could get a packet in between now and the 17th. Information about the rental, emergency rental, get a couple more quotes from somewhere.
Yeah, I'll
We
do
get
that.
that, and then the board can review it. A few days ahead of time, and we'll make a quick decision on the 17th.
Well, and then the other thing, Ian, if you can just put it together, put the highlights in a spreadsheet, if there's any significant, it's like, who the company is, what the cost is, what the warranty is, if there's any significant things that, we need to, so we're not peppering you with 1,000 questions when we get the quotes.
Oh, that's fine.
All right, cool.
Moving on, Aqua is planning to. They're trying to start their Circle and Green project this winter. January. So that way they can have it paid, or not paid, but seeded, their hope is to have it seeded by April.
So here's, as soon as they said that, we all just kind of cringed, first of all, because we figure there's not enough gold in the world paving everything there, but. Our concern is that they think they can start in January. That's dependent upon the county issuing a permit.
It depends on the county issuing a permit. Cold winter, I don't know. It's in the road. It's wet.
It's all in the road.
They're gonna do it all on the road, which is gonna be a lot cleaner than up in the yards. You won't have all that mud tracking.
Can you tell this is my street?
Now, I did talk
We need a
to,
permit from the county, I know.
This guy doesn't know.
Discussion of this.
I did talk to Steve Busker this afternoon at the county. The county's willing to designate a guy to spend more time on this project throughout the construction and the restoration. I talked to them about a level of service agreement. Steve had never heard of anything like that on this type of project. But he said what we can do is get together before the pre-con with the county, basically give them our expectations. That way the county has and us are on board when we go into the pre-con with Aqua. And give them what we're expecting, and if they don't hold to it, they can pull the permit.
Okay.
So the other thing about this is that we're not going to pave. You want to talk about that?
Oh, yeah.
This
I
factors
was
into
getting
your,
it's on my list. The township paving is being pushed off. Shelley doesn't think they can, Shelley and Sam doesn't think they can get all the paving on the township project done this year. This is all townships. So they've asked Mark for a list of priorities for each township. He added Dolliver, Evangeline to button up this aqua water line project. Basically pushing off the rest. I reached out to him today. I haven't heard back. Trying to push up Circle on Green to get it bidded quickly, so it could be done as soon as they're trying to
I
button.
mean, that kind of makes sense, you know.
Mhm.
How long is the Aqua project? Do they anticipate?
They're only anticipating a few months. It took a few months to get started on Dolliver.
You said they
And-
be done. in a
I mean,
month.
they moved along quickly. It wasn't terrible. Nobody really had issues with the project on Dolliver and Evangeline until the restoration, which is the normal. And most people, you know, they're looking at their yards, expecting it to be in a settled.
But ours will all be street, right?
So with
Then,
Dolliver and Evangeline.
Yeah, Dolliver and Evangeline was all street. It's your services. They'll be digging in your yard. Most of the spots,
Not yours.
yeah, we're gonna come in from the neighbors.
They're gonna serve.
No, usually about a 3 by 5 foot, 6 foot areas where they're digging down, put your new shut off and connect the service lines up to it.
So the only questions I have is this, if they're gonna start in January and they do this, my big thing would be backfilling, compaction, and making sure that they're on the hook, that if there's any settling that, you know, that they're gonna come back and replace it, because I know that they have this new backfill, like, you know, in my yard, they've used that special backfill, which, you know, but I will tell you, it's still settled. You know, and that's the reason why I waited a whole year to get my driveway done. So that would be my only concern, is I'd much rather have it in you know, have them do the work in January. So if it lasts January, February, March, you still have March, April that people are driving on it. You're gonna get, you know, that settling, the compaction, and then once the weather, you know, gets clear, you know, then we're paving.
Well, that's kind of what my thought was, if they could get it done early and then just keep the paving where it's at.
Yeah,
Usually coming in late summer, it gives that time to see if there's gonna be any settling.
yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things that, you know, with the settling and, you know, especially how far, do we know how deep those wire lines are? I mean, they're gonna
I
probably
have the
be,
plans on my desk, for it. There's 15 feet on, I think they're 10 foot and then up to 8 foot
okay,
roughly, but they're plate tamping in
Yeah.
levels as they're coming up.
or,
I can't remember,
or
it's
so
3 or
the
4.
plans say. What they actually do in real life is,
They were pretty good on Dolliver. I was up there quite a bit watching them raise that.
yeah, that would be my only thing, is that we make sure that we're overseeing them, you know, as they're doing lifts and compacting it on the way up, that it's being done that way,
I
so.
spent quite a bit of time walking and following them.
See, Jim, the concern is something I asked, we have a conversation with the county, is that it is, I'm cognizant of the fact that, first of all, it's your street. There's 60 homes there, you and 59 others, but is that somehow we get the paved, and how you balance this, because you want time for everything to settle.
Oh, yeah.
We all understand that, but on the other hand, you're going to go through a construction phase, dust and dirt and all that other stuff. We want to somehow make sure that we can get that as close to the repaving part, because I just don't want residents there to go through all this construction phase and then have to wait for a new road. But yet, on the other hand, we balance it with the fact, okay, they compact it right. You don't want to pave something and then it's settled and then you're having other issues.
It's just the dirt and dust and mud is the big thing. I mean, if they could do a, you know, like a rough coat, just to get the dirt and the mud and whatever, and then, let that kind of do its thing and then come back and pave it finally. I mean, I don't know if that's an option or not.
We'll talk about that at the pre-con. Hopefully they can get so far,
What a
bring
mess.
the asphalt crew in, to do the asphalt.
That just seems like a weird time of year to start a project like this though, because if you're digging and there's snow and you got part of the road torn up and that, you gotta plow around that kind of.
It will be a pain.
It just seems like something you would want to start like in March or April
I
rather.
mean, the rationale, Jim, I think is because the spring is the best time to do restoration.
Yeah, that's what.
That was the rationale, which is true. Springtime is a good time to do restoration.
If you have a brutal winter and you can't do certain things, then you gotta put the whole project. I'm not gonna micromanage this thing. It's just, I'm sure we're trying to figure out the best way to do it.
Listen, there's 60 residents are not gonna. I want to make this, we want to make this as convenient as possible, but on the other hand, taking into account all the things that Andy said about compaction, making sure that once you pave the road, we're not going to see deterioration as a result of the fact Mother Nature's decided to let things settle.
Well, we got our own little neighborhood email system and all that kind of stuff. Can you send me like, some idea plans and that kind of thing so I can check?
I can send you the plans.
Like, where all these cuts are gonna be and where's all the impacted.
The plans are, I just started reviewing them. I want to find out, I need to go through them, where they're planning on storing. There's not really a good spot on Circle and the Grange to be. They had a
Don't tell me.
shipping container that they.
The only decent spot would sort of be by the golf course there.
Yeah, I just want to see what their plan is.
Right.
I don't want them to be
Storing pipe.
storing pipe anywhere in the area, bringing it up with a couple days work and then.
Listen, we don't want this to be a Mr. Miller thing.
Can you go on vacation?
Okay.
Maybe January, come back July for the fourth.
I think our entire,
I mean, if I have to, that's what it takes.
I think we need to be put up at some sort of hotel that's, it's sort of in proportion to the square foot that we have right now. After we come back, it's all good. It's all right.
Well, we are going to make sure, I know we did this over Evangeline and Oliver. We're going to do a lot of door to door. We're going to make sure that people are kept in the loop about what's going on, what to expect. There's a lot about communication.
Let me be a part of that, just because I know everybody there.
I mean, they are very active on their email chain. I mean, there's one knows, all 60 know, so. Mr. Roper needs to be. And if you could send the entire board the plans, so.
Yeah, I'll send those. Once I have more information too, I'll share all that. The plans have not been approved by Franklin County yet. They're still reviewing.
We're just putting it on your radar.
Lay down.
Moving away
That was
from,
a great start to the last quarter of the year.
Mm,
Leaking water, digging up water.
I just think you're gonna have
Electronic
like all
or
new, everything's gonna be clean and new. They mentioned that they're doing like the inside of the pipes is gold.
I mean, it'll probably bring the pressure up a little bit, so you better get your lines fixed before.
Yeah.
All these little leaks might turn into big leaks.
Yeah.
All right,
Moving on.
moving on.
We'll talk about the paving. Leaf pickup is scheduled to start October 17th. We're getting ready for that. That's all I have.
When do we put yard signs out?
We will be putting yard signs out probably this week for leaf season. The Reddit signs went out today.
thank you.
Yeah, I saw those up already.
And that leaf season goes what, November 30th?
Yeah, I can't remember the end date, but yeah, it's right there.
Okay.
I think it's December 1st.
Is it December 1st?
Yeah, because these are gonna come off of here.
It's not even close.
They're gonna be early.
Yeah, not even close.
His come off December 2nd.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys are gonna pick up,
Because, you know, it's circle the green.
we're still gonna get picked up, right? I mean, why bother if they're gonna just tear everything up in January?
We're gonna put it in a bowl.
Use it for filler.
Well, that will come back.
That's your back.
He's awful spongy.
That's all.
All right. Fire and EMS,
Nothing at this.
police department.
Oh, the fire and EMS. Oh,
Yes.
There's an issue. First of all, thank you for sending out the notice from Chief Zambito.
Sure.
And we haven't had any more little fires rushing around.
Nothing. We had, talking to Chief Zambito, for whatever reason, but busy time, they had a period of, I think, just roughly around 3 weeks, they had 7 fires. We had 3 or 4 calls here. Worthington had 2 or 3, and Sharon Township had 1.
Ours was a pizza box.
Well, we had
lithium
2
ion
garages, there was a call in Brookside and a pizza box.
battery.
In the oven.
That one on Candlewood.
I'll make
was-
that recommendation.
Batteries,
Yeah, that was significant.
yes,
It took almost half the house.
yes. Yeah, the pizza box was, somebody forgot it in the oven. And then the other one, on Shelley was, hot ashes. I think, did I send that out? Yeah, okay, I can't remember off the top of it. Yeah, that's, yeah, ashes with the Shelley cord.
And we're in fire.
Yes.
Mhm.
We had discussed a couple meetings ago about cars and ordering new cruisers. The cost for Ford Interceptors has gone up $11,000 roughly compared to last year. I think you all have that. Roughly $11,000. Ford decided this year they are not going to do state bid pricing. They're not doing any type of government fleet discount. They're not doing state bid pricing. They're not doing anything with Department of Administrative Services. And that's across the country. So we're paying basically full price for cars. So we have a comparison of what we did last year compared to this year. And basically the cost increase is the increase of the cars. These two are unmarked, so they won't be outfitted exactly the same. So there's a cost savings there because if they are rolled into the fleet, we'll take whatever equipment we can save off of another car and put it on these because they're all the same body. But if Ford changes their body style again and forces us to upfit all over again, I will look at Chevy at that point because the Chevys are cheaper at this point. The only difference is we would have to upfit. Currently, we don't have to upfit. Everything now is all the same body.
They kept that last body style for like 10 years.
Yes. Yeah,
That's like their, like after the F-150, I think that's their best selling SUV. I don't think they're gonna.
yeah. Well, and again, I think Dodge has kind of gotten out of the game with.
Do you guys
SUVs.
use Explorers at all?
Yeah. That's our, we bought one of the new F1, the electric F-150s. I don't know who that's going to go to, but yeah, that's all we have is Ford. I know I didn't even catch.
No, you're fine.
Our fleet just purchased for us, I think February 15 for next year. I was just at Washington last week and the fire chief just got a call from Ford and said they had two F-250s ordered, and Ford said, yeah, well, you're not gonna be getting this.
Yeah.
He said, not at all. Yeah, not at all. They
So-
just can't, and that was like an order from almost like a year ago.
Well, I was gonna say, last year Dodge canceled all their police car orders. They, not only did they not do SUVs, they canceled all their sedans last year as well. Chevy's the only one currently, and that's the Tahoe, if I remember right, and the Tahoe Suburban and their pickup. But again, the upfitting cost is where we would lose. So at this time, we'll just stay with Ford. But if we have to re-upfit again, where Ford says, hey, none of this equipment's gonna fit, we'll look at something else.
So is there a time limit on this? Like we have to order?
The cars are ordered. We had to do, that's what we talked about last, and we had to get on that list to order cars
So that
because,
got done.
but whether they will keep that and honor that's a whole other story.
Okay.
So I would like to get approval for that, but also I spoke with PAR, the upfitting cost on the cars. They're going to reevaluate. Last quarter of the year, PAR traditionally raises prices. So they would like to lock in our price so I can get approval just to say this is what it is. I received a phone call that said they're reviewing they're starting their fourth quarter review to raise prices.
You said these are gonna be unmarked cars?
These are replacing our 2 unmarked.
Okay.
So in the event that one of our fleet cars goes down, we would have to wait 12 to 18 months to get a replacement. And I would prefer not to have that on a fleet. So if one of our fleet cars goes down, we can roll this into the fleet if needed.
So are these like black then?
Yeah, they're just gonna be just basic, like basically what you see that's already marked, just completely unmarked. So they'll have some of the same equipment as our current cars, but again, if something should happen to a fleet car, we'll take all the equipment out of it and put it in that, and we would hopefully be able to get everything. Car goes down tomorrow, they can't be repaired, we would be able to get a car back in the fleet within 2 weeks.
Do we have any of the old body style SU or Fords?
No. That's why we stayed before everything is the new body style, so we don't have to re-upfit anything.
And you might want to thank the chief for getting Mr. Roper off the road thing now.
So you need a motion then to approve?
Yes, looking for a motion to approve the purchase of the cars of a price not to exceed 66,500.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Vote.
Yes.
Yes.
And then a motion for the outfitting?
Yes.
For
not to
upfitting?
exceed- Yeah, not to exceed 23,000.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Vote.
Yes.
Yes.
The only thing I have is a couple quick updates. NAPEC, which is North American Police Equestrian Council that we sponsored, was a success. It's a great time. We had a lot of compliments. We are one of about 24 agencies that have been able to host that across the country. Well, actually international, other countries have hosted this in the past, so we're very fortunate to have that. It's probably been a couple meetings ago, I talked about cameras for our facility property. I have got part of a quote, Buckeye Datacom is who Think CSC uses. He's given me a quote for labor. We're waiting for Think CSC to give us a quote on the actual camera and equipment and so forth. So once I have both quotes, I'll bring that and present that at the earliest meeting.
And just those cameras can be purchased through the American Relief Fund. That helps quite a bit, I think.
So
I'm just looking real quick at Ford, not to change years, but their last model before this current one
yeah,
was in place from 11 to 19. And then in 19, they introduced the redesign that came out as a 20. And that's current. So
Yeah.
the other one was 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 9 years
yeah,
without a change. In terms of, there was like minor stuff.
Right.
But this current generation came out in 19 as a 2020. So
well,
you would think they would probably go to about 20, 28, 2029.
you would think, but they've talked, there's rumors already that they're going to start making changes in 24. So we can't, no one's been able to confirm or deny that, what they're gonna change if they do. So that's all I have.
Madam Administrator.
Okie dokie. I haven't heard any updates on 161, correct? The Civilian Advisory Board met for the first time. Jerome Scott is the chair, Jim Reardon's vice chair, secretary is Angela Lockhart. Those are one-year terms. So the next meeting is going to be on, I think it's the October 25th at 6:30, and the police chief and IN will be presenting their strategic plans for that meeting. We're thinking we'll likely take a break because of the holidays and meet back at the end of January, and they'll have start jumping into some of the facilities information, that sort of thing. So let's see, the facilities meeting for the board is scheduled for this week at 8 a.m. Let's see, shredded events, October 22nd. Drug tape back is October 29th, 10 to 2 here. In our garage, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Doc Wade will be here for that.
Okay. I have, Mary and I went out and we met with, to talk health insurance with a local company called OPEC US. We toured their facilities and so on and so forth. I think, she both and I, correct me if I'm wrong. Their model is based on how much the township would save. We had a very hard time understanding how that would be calculated out. There was no opportunity for them to have a regular proposal that says this is what you're going, a ballpark of what you're going to be paying. So it could be more than what we're already paying. It could be less. We don't know. It's kind of a different way of doing things. But I think we'll leave that open. If the board would like for this gentleman to come in and run y'all through it, please let me know. But it's kind of an unusual model, and there was no good way that we could walk away feeling like, okay, well, we'd be able to tell the board this is budget wise, it would be almost impossible. and comparing to other plans. MedMutual or Burnham and Flowers did get an initial estimate back for, they're looking at just over a 13% increase, but she has a meeting with MedMutual coming up this coming week. Going to see what kind of relief they could provide to the township, especially with the township being with MedMutual for so many years. So as soon as I get that information back, I'll let you know. We're still searching out for other options, talking to other agency or entities to see what they're doing. And hopefully we'll figure this all out in short order. So y'all have some options to look at. Under new business, Indy, I know you weren't here for the first reading, but did you have a chance to look through those two? So should I just go ahead and put those on for the next agenda then?
I mean, what was the, I can't remember the price for Microsoft 365.
Let's see, the migration of 365, it was going to actually be pretty much a wash because we're not going to be using servers, so we're not going to
Right.
have maintenance cost, and
Right.
there's a variety of different things that I have listed on here.
Yeah, I'm totally good with moving to Microsoft Office 365.
Okay.
I think it's way overdue for us to do that. I mean, I think we've been talking about this for 5 years, so
Yeah.
to get into that is, that's fine.
Thanks.
So if somebody wants to make that motion, we can go ahead and do that.
So moved.
Second,
Vote
yes.
yes.
Okay, and the other thing was moving to the cloud. It's approximately $261.75 per month. Luke did a great job working with the chief, cleaning up all of the files that were on the server, because we get charged for the number of assets and files. So that brought down the cost significantly from where our starting point was.
And how many licenses was that again?
There would be, let's see. I think there's 15 of us that would have 365. Oh, no. I'm sorry. I'm getting this all screwed up. Oh, let's see. Time set up. You know what? This one, I'm sorry. There's not even a license to it. We just go through them. It's not licensed individually. We just pay 15 months per user, and there's 15 people who need that.
And how much storage space do you get?
That was on the other piece of paper. So I know that the way he calculated it out, that would give us what we already have plus a cushion.
Yeah.
And
the only
I'm
question
sorry.
that I had in looking at
Thank
some of
you.
these other ones, I know you pay a little more and whatever, but is the file sharing something that we need? Because the cloud storage is just storage, but like some of the other ones like Dropbox and ShareFile allow you to share files. Is that an important thing for you guys? And that would be my only thing is because like some of the other services give you unlimited.
Mhm.
Like you don't have to worry, like I saw the one where you gotta up, like you gotta pay for more, more
Right.
storage if you get to that thing. I mean, is that okay? We kind of thought through, and then there was just a file sharing difference between the two. So I mean, if you guys are comfortable, I'm comfortable, and it's like, and again, I think it's long overdue in terms of.
Yeah, I did, because I know share file was something that you used.
Yeah,
And one of the things was that's the difference with the sync tool is Think CSC host it. So all of our data is on their servers. And
Right.
of course, there's the backups and that sort of thing.
right.
So that kind of leads to the files being more secure and everything
Okay.
that goes with
That's fine.
the cost. I compared the two, and sync tool was a little bit
Right.
less expensive.
Yeah, I just know that there was, I know that, I know it's less expensive, but, like we've been on share file for, gosh, probably 10 years.
Yeah, I know you've been on it
It's
for a long
all,
time.
it's secure and everything like that. So, and I think we're paying $271 a month for unlimited storage, and 15, we have 15 licenses, so
Yeah.
about comparable, but, again, it's like, if you guys feel like this is the ride you want to go, that's fine with
I
me.
think from our standpoint, I'm sorry,
No, go ahead.
Luke has done a great job with the records retention side,
Right.
because one of the things before he got here, we had records that were unnecessarily kept. And I think that with his, I don't know if expertise is the right word, but with him being involved, it has cut down on a lot of our storage, because we had so many things that we didn't need to have in the past. He's done a
Right.
great job with that records.
Okay.
Right,
storage
right.
side, So.
Yeah, I mean, I think we felt pretty comfortable with one of the big selling points for me was if we needed to go back and retrieve something, it's a phone call to Think CSC,
Right.
so we can always test this out for a
Yep.
year. And if we find that it's not, well, we can move across. So
Okay. Cool.
could I get a motion, please?
So.
Second.
Vote, yes.
Thank you very much. All righty. Let's see here. All right, there was in your packets was a consulting agreement with Joe Smiley. I talked to Joe a couple different times now, and he was comfortable with us changing status at the first of the year. So I would just need a motion to approve the consulting agreement effective January 1st, 2023 for a term of 1 year.
Yeah, so moved.
Second.
Vote,
Yes.
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. Already talked about that. Yeah, I just wanted to add on real quick to the NAPAC. I took my grandson to the equestrian and thing in the morning with the police. The Forsyths just did a phenomenal job. I mean, it was so well organized, put together, tons of fun. Matthew's never seen a horse in his life, and he petted every single horse in his path. And then we were fortunate enough to go in the afternoon down to the rodeo at the Franklin County Engineer's office and watch the road guys compete there. They all did a great job, and bonus points, Matthew, who's really big into big rigs, got to ride in the truck and the obstacle course. So it was a great day. But I do want to thank the Forsyths and police for stepping up and stepping in to make sure that event happened. It was really, really amazing.
Real quick, as you said that, I just got a text from Cindy Forsyth. They've been invited to the first responder ceremony at the National PBR Rodeo this Friday for the Quarter Horse Congress. So they've been
Very
asked to
cool.
ride in that.
Very cool. Okay. And then I guess all that's left is fiscal officer, and there is what I hope will be a short executive session. Can you pass that to Andy? Because I don't think I ended up with that in front of me.
I'll make the motion to approve payroll and disbursements.
Second.
Vote,
Yes.
yes. Moving right in.
Yeah.
And then I think we have an executive session, so I move to enter into executive session to consider the dismissal and compensation of public employee by roll call vote. Listen.
Oh, Mr. Cheney,
Yes.
Mr. English.
Yes.
Mr. Roper.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
5-minute break.
Just
5 minute break.
second here.
Hey, Mary, can I give you this and